Agger's View is brought to you by PureMTGO.com and MTGOTraders.com. Okay, so I didn't actually take part in any dailies this week. I don't have the cards for Modern, and I wanted to see a little bit more action before I invested in a deck. So I'm going to show you today some games from the daily, and the first person I found I wanted to show you was Todd Anderson's round one game. Todd Anderson, as you may know, is a guy who won the TCG Player 75K Championship, so he's obviously a very good player. And I wanted to show you this match because it should be promising. He is Elves and his opponent is Cloudpost. So let's check this out. So I don't want to click through because my computer likes to break up. We'll just do the play button here. So we start with Llanowar Elves. It's very standard for Elves. His opponent is Expedition map that proves that he is the Cloudpost deck. So he starts off with an early Cloudstone. Not the greatest turn 2 play, but it certainly is part of his combo to go infinite. He gets an Elvish Visionary there and another one, so he can start drawing tons of cards by returning his Elvish Visionaries. If he hits infinite mana, he wins. He just needs a Heritage Druid and some Nettle Sentinels at this point to finish off the game. So he Llanowar Elves there, returns an Elvish Visionary, plays it again. His opponent condescends it, so he's going to be able to scry. He gets to Summer's Pact there and find his Heritage Druid. He's going to generate 3 mana. He's going to play the Elvish Elvish Visionary again and continue going off here. He returns his guys and passes the turn after he plays Elvish Visionary again. This is just the insanity of these cards. Is now that Elvish Visionary is in play, returning an elf to your hand resets the mana you can get from him. So he's going off right here. He has to pay for this in the upkeep, unfortunately. So that is something. He repeals his Cloudstone Curio to make it harder for him to combo off this turn. So he's probably not going to be able to combo off this turn, and it seems he doesn't. He has Dryad Arbor here. I'm assuming you can get with Green Sun Zenith or Summer's Pact. So that is something. There's the Nettle Sentinel we're talking about. This guy untaps every time you cast a green spell. So he's going to be able to untap. This guy essentially generates green mana every time you play a elf. So each one of these elves is generating green mana for him with Heritage Druid. And just a lot of value. If he gets 2 out, he starts making mana. Every time, yeah, he's just a lot of mana. So we'll continue watching this here. It's a bit of a long combo, and his opponent might stop at one point. We'll see. So he gets to keep on replaying his Visionaries. He's just looking for another Sentinel, really, I think, and then he'll start going infinite. Like right now, he doesn't have infinite mana, but it's very close. And one Nettle Sentinel should finish it. So he's got Green Sun Zenith here, finds another Nettle Sentinel. That's pretty much game. His opponent's just making sure he doesn't make mistakes. Because he's going to be able to draw his old deck. Technically he's not infinite now. Now he's infinite with the 3 Sentinels. Every time he plays a green spell, he generates a 3 mana. And gets to return a card to his hand. So he gets to replay his Visionary infinite times, draw his whole deck. And I don't know what his finisher is here. I mean, he just did that earlier to speed it up because his opponent's making him waste clock. That's his whole plan right now. His opponent's not actually playing to win because he's going to lose this game. He Tectonic Edges away at Cloudpost. I don't know if Todd's deck actually has a way to kill on the turn that it combos off. Usually they have like a Grape Shot and a Red Source or something, but I don't know if he actually has a way. I mean, he has infinite mana and infinite card draw now, so we'll see. He just keeps on returning his cards, untapping mana. Sometimes Emrakul is the kill condition, and it might actually just be that. If he gets 20 power on board in an Emrakul, actually want a little bit more than 20 power in an Emrakul, but yeah. Oh, Primal Command. So he's guaranteed to win now. He can put all of his cards on top of his deck with Primal Command. And well, his opponent, there you go. Okay, so he didn't want to. His opponent was just trying to get as much time as he could and learn as much stuff, and he quit there after a while. So let's move on to game two. So obviously Todd loses this one because it went to 3 games, but let's get a look at what happened here and why Todd lost. So we both start in 7 cards. It wasn't a mulligan that won this game. We'll talk about that. Nil Sentinel there. The green deck doesn't mulligan very much because, but that's a huge play there. Chalice of the Void turns off most of this guy's deck, and he doesn't even get to, like, his only answer to Chalice of the Void is Viridian Shaman, and I don't know how many he's playing in the deck, but this card can single-handedly ruin Elves by itself. Like, he can try to go big against it, but this guy's got Remand too, so he's got counterspells to protect his Chalice. He's playing Vesuvius as islands because he doesn't really care. That's how strong this is going for him. And the Remands are doing extremely well right there. The Remand makes him discard a card at the end of the turn because he has no. So he got his Shaman there. But and if he has a way to bounce his land, he wins. But I don't know if he does. No, so he doesn't have a way to bounce his land. And he didn't have a counterspell for that Shaman. That was kind of. I think he should have just saved one for the Shaman because now he has access to all of his cards again. It seems a little silly to have done that, but I guess Wurmcoil Engine is a fine trump card. So he can try to go off now. Primal Command does some work there, and he got a Regal Force, so next turn he's going to be able to draw a ton of cards. Actually, at this point, I think the game is in Todd's favor. We know he loses, so I don't know why. He drew another Remand, so Remand's awesome, as always. Does a lot of work. All His Dust. Okay, All His Dust is a great way to win the game there. Your whole deck is pretty much colorless in this deck, besides like Primeval Titan, and the only time you're casting All His Dust is after your Titan's already swung, so All His Dust did its work there, and Todd lost that game. So the Chalice is what really did the work there. Made sure Todd's deck is like a turn 3 or 4 combo deck, and with the Chalice out there, he spent turns just attacking with his 2/2 and doing nothing. So that's a lot of good stuff there. So we'll start this game off again, game 3. Thabag mulligans to 6. He lays a Cloudpost to start off with, which is a nice start for him. Cloudpost does a lot of good work in this deck. And he's got 2 Nettle Sentinels and a Heritage Druid. This could get pretty insane pretty fast. He had 3 mana there, but he didn't use it, so he might be out of gas. He's just swinging. Okay. And did he miss a land drop? He did. So that's annoying for him. Or was it just turn 3? Okay, so he didn't. So Glimmerpost is the other Locust land. It powers up this land, but it's not as great as this land either. It does come play untapped, so that's nice. He gets a Chalice, but it's a little late. He's already got 4 1-drops in play. And he's just going to start beating down. This is the other elf plan called it's just beating down, so he gets a lot of value from all of this. And the game's over there. He didn't have a way to All His Dust in time. All His Dust would have he would have his 4 mana in play. Another Cloudpost would have been 5 mana. So no, there's pretty much no way he could have won that game. Turn 4 kill from Elves. The deck is very strong. It doesn't use Azuri. It only uses Arch, if I remember correctly. Maybe he's a tech play, but standard lists don't use him. So that was interesting. Here's another great one. Tom Maw. He lost his match, but he was a Pro Tour top 8er. I believe it's a Pro Tour. The Pro Tour that Jund won. I'm not sure. Oh, he was Jund, I think. It was an extended Pro Tour. So we'll see this in action. I think he was top 8. So he's red burn, and we'll find out what his opponent is. Blue and Ponder don't mean a ton. It could possibly mean his opponent is in fact Deceiver combo. Oh, so this is a oh, that's interesting. It's a Pyromancer deck. Pyromancer's pretty huge. It's a budget deck. It's doing a lot of work. So on his upkeep, he Magma Jets there to scry away land. He's just main phasing his burn. It's pretty funny. So his opponent starts going off. Manamorphose with an active Pyromancer Ascension generates 2 mana and 2 cards. So I mean the card's insane, and I think he's just gonna combo off here. Manamorphose gets very insane with the active Ascension, and Peer Through Depth certainly works very well in this deck. Looking at the top 5 cards of your deck and finding an instant among them. So instant or sorcery. Yeah. So I mean the whole deck is instant sorceries, Manamorphose and Ponder. So it's just beautiful for him. It should be the game right after this Ponder resolves. He's got like everything he wants at this point. The Rite of Flames is interesting. It does help pay for Manamorphose, so, and the Manamorphose can generate blue mana again. So what he's probably doing is always generating double blue off his Manamorphoses. And he's pretty much got the game right here. He remands his own Lightning Bolt back to his hand, so the 2 copies hit his opponent, but he gets the copy, the remand back, and gets the Lightning Bolt back and gets to play it again. Just a lot of tricks you can do with Pyromancer Ascension. I personally don't like the deck, but it's very powerful. You see triggers going all over the place here. He's got another Lightning Bolt, and his opponent's just dead. Like, he had a turn 4 kill with Burn, but he's comboing off on his turn 4, so being on the play definitely helped in this game. But just shows you the power of the deck. So we'll go for game 2 of that match. So Tom starts on a Grim Lavamancer. Certainly not his fastest spell. He gets a turn 1 Pyromancer off a Rite of Flame, so that's very interesting. Relic of Progenitus is a great card to side in, essentially keeping Pyromancer off. Well, not all the time, but it'll help keep him off counters. And he's dealt himself 2 damage off his his pain lands there. That's interesting. He's got a Banefire in his hand, so that's also interesting as well. He Magma Jets him and scries too. So the Relic is keeping his graveyard free of instants and sorceries, so he won't be able to copy his Pyromancers. And he's going to kill off all his creatures, but not before he gets to dealing a lot of damage here, so that's really nice. He exiles all the cards, so he just paid 2 mana to cycle his Relic and remove all cards in his graveyard, and you need cards in your graveyard to work with Pyromancer Ascension, so that's always nice. It looks like he would have won this game, but I think his opponent's going to combo off right here, unfortunately for him. I don't know if he could have done anything different. But this is kind of depressing all the time. It's always depressing to lose to Pyromancers because they spend forever on their turn just playing cards with themselves while you sit back and watch. So he remands his original Manamorphose back to his hand. Remember, remand is insane on your own spells in certain situations. Sometimes they mana leak your own your big spell. You don't have enough mana to pay for mana leak, but you can remand your own spell, as opposed to remanding their mana leak when they have extra mana. There's a lot of different tricks you can use with it, and it makes the controller of the original spell draw a card. So if you remand your own spell, you're drawing 2 cards and getting back that original spell. And Tom's talking about how he's being a turn too late here. He obviously has the kill next turn, but it's just not going to be enough. And he's got 7 counters on here. He's just doing insane. It's pretty much going to be game soon, so we'll see. I mean, he's got, yeah, there you go. There's the kill with Banefire, triple Banefire. So that's it. I'll see you in round 2.